Hello, everyone, and namaste. This is Magdalena Grace here with our alchemy meditation. I'm first going to do a short teaching. So, if you're here to do the meditation, jump to the timestamp that's in the subject title and in the comments section. I just want to do a brief teaching. I also want to encourage you, if you'd like, to light a candle, incense, if that appeals to you. And then, of course, if you want to sage your space, if you want to grab any special crystals, if you're into any of that kind of stuff, maybe even oracle card. I'm teaching you essentially why I have done daily alchemy meditations and rituals now for 3 years and how it really brought me back to myself, my best health, my best wealth, relationships, all of it. And I'm still on the path with you. At the time of this recording, we're getting close to my retreat, the Day of the Dead retreat. Here we are getting excited about the Samhain season and really just connecting and breaking those generational cycles in your ancestral lineage. And here's the thing, if you don't get into ancestors, if you don't really care about that, which is totally fine, you can still do this alchemy exercise. Alchemy, in summary, is turning shadow into light, pain into purpose, fear into love, guilt into gratitude, shame into empowerment, grief into gold, all of the words to allow yourself to not downward spiral and stay in a place of darkness, and also not to just hide from it and like put the blinders on or just keeping the positive Pollyanna rose colored glasses on, because that is not what this planetary awakening is about right now. We're heading into the age of Aquarius. This is all about truth, sovereignty, making sure you're making decisions from your heart, your sacred yes and your sacred no. And I'm going to train you briefly with some slides, and then we'll get into a short meditation so that you have the ability to then go inside and be the change you want to see in your DNA, in your family, in your world, in your community, in your career, in your relationships. This is meant to help you have a healthier, richer, more juicy life in all of the categories. And why am I so passionate about this? Well, to be candid, my ancestors brought me back into understanding that I am not just me. I'm not just Magdalena. I am the sum of over 4,000 plus. Not even going to get into the galactic family, not even going to get into past lives. This is simply your bloodline. So just think about that for a second. In order for you to be born, there's over 4,000 people over the last 400 years that needed to meet and reproduce your parents, your grandparents, so on and so forth, for you to be here. So do you think maybe some of your life choices started with them? And you are here to heal and feel and be the change you want to see in the world and rewrite your ancestral DNA. That's my passion. That's what I've done. Because I was told that alcoholism, mental illness, and autoimmune disease all ran in my family. And guess what? Even though I quote unquote ran away from that thinking, wherever you go, there you are. So maybe you have felt like me, maybe a little different, a little outcasted, a little weird, like the black sheep of the family. Well, here's the good news. This is good news in my book. You get to be the change in your family lineage, in your DNA, in not only future generations, but the collective, the here and the now. One of my favorite movies of all time is Cloud Atlas. And basically, that movie talks about our lives not being our own. From womb to tomb, we're also bound to others, past and present. So, not only our ancestors, but there's other souls in our life that influence us, our relationships. So, like for me, I got a divorce this year. That was a huge soul contract that I was bound to. At least that's my belief. Again, you can have different beliefs, and that's fine. And through that process, if we don't learn the lessons in this lifetime, guess what? We get to come back and birth our future and repeat the same stuff. And I don't know about you, but I'm all about getting my money's worth in this lifetime. And I'm not talking about dinero. I'm talking about getting that karmic soul contract to then become my dharma. My pain becomes my purpose and how I can shine my light in the world. And of course, Jim Rohn says that you are the average of the 5 people you spend your most time with. So these souls in your life that are the closest to you, this is also a good time if they're triggering you, if they're bringing up stuff, to really ask yourself, what am I learning from these people. If you're like me through this journey of alchemy and daily practice, meditation and all the things that I teach now, had I not started doing this daily practice that we're about to do, oh my God, I would be so miserable. You know, I became a closet alcoholic because I was surrounded by people that I did not like. But guess what? I hung out with them anyway. And I kept shedding. This is the year of the snake, 2025, anyway. And it's all about shedding and letting go of that and whom no longer serves you. So if you've lost relationships, be grateful because hopefully it was a shedding and dumping of that which is no longer who you are. People are vibing in and out of each other's lives. If you've ever heard your vibe attracts your tribe, well, if you're like me, my tribe has changed like, oh my gosh, 10 times since 2020 because I've changed as within, so without, as above, so below. One of my favorite stories, a couple quick ones before we move on, is Dolores Cannon and her book. You know, her belief, she was a hypnotherapist, born in the 30s, died in 2009. She wrote many, many, many books about what she learned from putting people under and tapping into their unconscious mind. That we all came here, whether you believe in, you know, galactics, a lot of people are aliens that came into these bodies to help wake the planet up. There's different waves of volunteers, Prince being in wave one, who came in to help us be the change that we wanted to see in the world. He was a rebel, but he also had a lot of trauma. He chose a very intense karmic life and has come to me many times under plant medicine ceremonies saying, hey, keep doing what you're doing, keep healing the mother father wound, keep going forward in your life in a way that makes a difference, and don't let these people, especially in that generation of Prince and Chris Cornell and Robin Williams and all that, don't let them die in vain. Their deaths, including all my friends who died by suicide, were, I guess, teachers, we'll call them teachers to what doesn't happen if you don't heal and alchemize your fear into love, your pain into purpose, so on and so forth. You could die of addiction. You could, you know, die of that quote unquote disease that runs in your family, right? You could keep marrying the same person 5 times, just a different name and a, you know, whatever. We're here to learn from our lessons, our ancestral mistakes, our ancestral journey, and our karmic soul contracts journey. So in essence, why do we want to tap into alchemy? And Carl Jung, one of my favorite teachers of all time, and why I call myself an alchemist, he was a big fan of alchemy. He broke away from Freud with these different beliefs that the unconscious mind has a lot more to teach us, but we've been taught to suppress it, to work over it, drink over it, not think about it, just stay in the ego or the self-conscious. And ultimately, we want to get into your heart, which is more of the super conscious, the seat of your soul, the home of your truth, unconditionally loving, all of that. But guess what? The only way is through the valley of the shadows, right? The only way is through. If you bypass it, you're just going to come back next time and next life and get to do the same shit. Different lifetime. So let's work on this, okay? We want to be balanced in our hemispheres. That's part of what this alchemy is meant to do, is balance your hemispheres of your brain, the being and the doing. The being is the feminine, doing is the masculine. So tapping into that intuition, tapping into your creativity, your feelings, right? The song, imagination, that's the feminine energy. And we've been shutting that down for far too long. Thousands of years of patriarchal rule. Think about it. Logic, analytics, get another certification, math, numbers, analysis paralysis, right? And that's been, I believe, our undoing in society. There's also components, and you can start to take notes if you want to, because this is going to help you discern what it is you want to alchemize, turning fear into love, or workaholism into balanced work-life balance, overthinking into balanced mind, anxiety and panic and OCD into calm, cool, collected. These are usually unconscious, and we want to make them conscious so that we can shift. We can alchemize it and bring more light into our body, our light body, and light into our life, light into our world. And again, as within, so without. So once you acknowledge these trauma responses, you'll be able to create better health, wealth, and relationship freedom. And oh, by the way, break generational cycles. Do you think people pleasing, no boundaries, and overwhelm and codependency started with me? Oh, nope. Did it start with my parents? Oh, nope. It's ancient. It's in our DNA, it's in our central nervous system, it's in our reptilian brain, the amygdala, all of the things. So this is here to help us wake up and remember who we truly are, which we are our own healers, we are our own alchemists, we are our own cosmic change makers. It just takes time. There's no magic pill, there's no quick fix. Even if you do medicine work, it's about your daily habits, your daily alchemy. That's going to make all of the difference. So you can look back at this list and think, what is it that I want to change in my life? I went through all of these, by the way. I was not spared any of them, and I still work on some of them, just thankfully not as many or not as terribly bad. And a lot of them are conscious now instead of unconscious. I can catch myself. Here is an image, David Hawkins' flow of expanded consciousness from the lower vibrational frequencies to the highest. Now I'm not going to go over these, but you can take a screenshot. You can look, pause, hit the pause button, and ask yourself, what has been tripping me up lately? Pride, apathy, guilt, shame. Right now, anger is a big one for me, and I do love the colors associated here. Actually, for the most part, with some exception, I teach on how these lower three chakras, the masculine chakras, the red, the orange, the yellow, they actually do pair pretty well with the shame, guilt, apathy, grief, fear, desire. I would probably reorganize this a little bit. But when we're doing this exercise, I really want you to think about cleansing and clearing your chakras. Kundalini yoga, lots of other things do this as well. But this alchemical exercise is going to help you with that. So I want you to go ahead before we dive into the meditation is pick the one thing that has been bugging you the most. Write it down. Is it fear, grief, being apathetic, feeling guilt, shame, anger, pride? The whole idea is to not stay in the highs or the lows, but find neutrality, of course. That's not easy. However, this is going to help you make it easier. So hopefully you've picked that. And just a reminder, final reminder before we meditate, is that this is all about coming back to love. We had a mother and a father. We have a yin and yang energy inside of us. We are all dark and light. We live in a dualistic world. The goal is to come into sacred union so we can come to that place of love, acceptance, and neutrality. However, we've been way too young for way too long. I'm a poet. And we want to honor the dark, the reverence of the yin, the slowness, the rest, the moon, the softness, the being passive in a healthy way and being open and receptive to what is going to come through in this meditation. We want to honor the feminine. We want to honor the earth. Honoring both the yin and the yang is what makes us human and fully divine. Oops, sorry, by the way. Okay. So hopefully you wrote down what is your yin, what is your current shadow that we are going to alchemize right here and right now. So what I want you to do is to go ahead and close your eyes. This is just going to be about a 5-minute meditation. So it shows you how easy things can shift in just a short period of time. And I'm going to sing a mantra for you for the longer portion. I just want you to first close your eyes before I get into the mantra. I'm going to talk to you for the first 30 seconds and then I'm going to sing. The whole goal is for you to go from the shadow, the trauma response, the limiting belief, the addictive behavior, whatever is the thing that you want to first connect to. And then I'm going to guide you into the light. So also think about that. If, for example, you've been feeling a lot of fear and coming from fight or flight or scarcity, we want to ground into love, acceptance. So you'll offer up first the fear, the scarcity, and then you're going to offer up love, acceptance, abundance as the light. So you're first honoring the shadow, then you're honoring the light. And the whole goal is to feel better and or at the very least feel more neutral and feel just even 1% calmer, better than you were when you started. You can do this every morning, do this every night. You could also consider doing this whenever you get triggered. All right, so close your eyes. And I want you to go ahead and just first be grounded, feet firmly planted on the floor. You could do this lying down as well. We're going to do 2 cleansing inhales. Go ahead and take a nice deep inhale. Inhale. And exhale. One more time, dropping into that deep parasympathetic central nervous system. Inhale. And then exhale. Get grounded and rooted in your truth, closing those eyes if they were open by chance. I want you to first sit with that shadow. Sit with that shadow. Honor it, see if anything comes through as you sit with it and acknowledge it. Taking a moment, just a few more seconds, maybe acknowledging where that shadow first started in your life, maybe your ancestors, see if anything came through. Go ahead and take a nice deep inhale. Inhale. And exhale. Now we want to call in the yang, call in the light, call in the opposite effect. Meditate on that here now for the next 2.5 minutes. Tuning to breathe deep and long through your nose. to spend a little more time in the light, go ahead and take a nice deep inhale, deepest of the day. And sigh it out. Taking a quick body scan to see if you're 1% better. We're feeling more love, more light, more hope, more acceptance, more peace, more forgiveness. Whatever the light was, whatever you called in, at the very least, my prayer, my wish for you is now you can set an intention. You can come from a more grounded place for your day ahead. Before opening your eyes, just set an intention. What wish, what prayer for your day ahead would you like to call in now that you have alchemized the shadow into light, the fear into the love, the shame into empowerment, the anger into acceptance or peace, clarity, passion, purpose? See if you get an answer. See if you get an embodied action, a sacred yes of what could you set as an intention, or what action in alignment with this practice could you partake in today that will help you get 1% better in your health, your wealth, or your relationships. Before you open your eyes, take one more deep inhale and exhale. And as we close, my parting words is to write something down. Write something if something came through, or write that intention, that an action for the day. Your intentions will be manifesting your energy. Your energy flows where your intention goes. So you set that true north, that sail, and the wind, known as your energy, your life, will take you forward. So here's your best health, your best wealth, your best relationships by trusting this wisdom that came from within today, for as within, so without. Sat Nam. Namaste.